Hello and welcome to Financial Education for the Nation. My name's Warren Shute, and today I want to show you how to spot and avoid a pension scam.
This episode has been sponsored by Idelo, the price comparison website.
Okay, so a little bit sort of, I won't say murky today, but a bit more subdued in the messaging. Okay, I'm normally very upbeat and everything else, and we'll keep it upbeat as well, but it's a serious message that I want to portray and get across to you guys. In the 25 years that I've been a regulated financial planner, I've come across a pension scam twice. So it doesn't mean they don't exist. They do. They're out there. But those two were also connected to the same company. The two individuals weren't connected to one another. In fact, they couldn't live further apart from one another. One was way up north and one was way down south. But they both come to me uncorrelated, but they've both been involved with the scam. And they are out there, pension scams out there. And what my outcome today for this is really just to bring it to your attention so you're aware of it and for you to be prepared if it ever crosses your path. The probability is it won't. But if you've got it in your arsenal there, then you're safe. The Pensions Regulator says that more than £30 million has been reported lost to pension scammers since 2017. And that's just according to complaints filed to Action Fraud. They do feel that there are many, many, many more in addition to that because so many people don't realize they've been defrauded and therefore don't report it. And this is why I want to sort of bring it to your attention, because it's not as if you lose the money like that. They're very sneaky in the methods in which they do it, and then before you know it, you've lost your money. The two individuals that I was referring to did not know that they had been defrauded, and roughly 5 years later, maybe 4 years later, they still don't have their money back, and they've kind of written it off because they now realise they were defrauded. Absolutely zero to do with my own firm. They came to me with this. I highlighted it to them. They were in denial. They didn't realize that they'd been defrauded. They thought it was going to be acceptable. It was all okay. And yeah, 4 or 5 years later, they've written the money off. They said, okay, we realized that was the case. Scammers tend to target both small and large pots, from anything from £1,000 to say £500,000. The pension regulator said the typical victim is a male in their 50s, and ironically that likes football. I don't quite get that connection. That's a sporadic sort of just throw it in there kind of thing. They like football. It could happen to anyone. One of these couples, they both liked football, I guess. One was in their 40s, one was probably at the time in their 50s. So, it just happened to anyone. It's a sad thing, and, it's terrible. It said the football fans approaching retirement appear particularly vulnerable to these scams. I don't know why. But, if someone contacts you unexpectedly about pensions and accessing your pension before 55, firstly, it's illegal. Okay, you can't cold call for investments like that anymore. So it's illegal. Report it to the Action Fraud. In preparation for this, I went onto their website. It's fascinating. If you've never been on there before, Google Action Fraud, kind of like a Department of the Police. You go through all the different frauds that are on there. There was frauds about social media, PayPal, and things like that. So how it's all working. So it's good to go on there, just have a little look to keep your mind aware. I don't dwell on negative things. I don't allow myself to go down that route and focus on that kind of thing. But I am aware of it. I have to read it for my profession and keep myself abreast of what's going on. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see what's in there. So yeah, have a look on there and see what you think. But if someone unexpectedly calls you out the blue and wants to talk to you about your pension, it's a fraud. A regulated firm would not do that. You have to be invited to call them. You can report them to Action Fraud. The number for Action Fraud is 0300 123 2040. And as always, there's a blog that goes along with this podcast. So just shoot yourself across to warrenshute.com, WARRENSHUTE.com, and you better pick up the details on there. The things that they tend to do is they tend to offer you tempting ways to invest your money. Now, I wanted to write this in the blog, but I wasn't allowed. But if it's brown and sticky, it's a stick, okay? Don't go for it. If it's too good to be true, that's it. It's too good. It's not true. Ignore it. Don't go for it. Investing should be boring. I know it sounds silly. Investing shouldn't be exciting, because excitement is what a roller coaster gives you, and it goes up and down like this, and you don't want that with your money. Trust me. They tend to say to you, oh, you can buy this island, or you can buy this hotel complex, and it's guaranteed tenants. Once you complete on it, we're building it. Once it's complete, we've got it let to these tour operators, and they're going to fill it up, and you've guaranteed money. And they keep saying things like this, and you sort of think, oh, I could go and use that. I've now got this boring pension. I can buy this great, exciting, exotic hotel. I can go and use it. We have to pay if you use it. Normal rates. You can't just use it for a discount, irrespective of what they say. You cannot do that. Yeah, it just never happens. It just never happens. So much money goes in all the cost fees and everything else, i.e. what they're making. You lose your money. So, be careful. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Okay. And the thing is, once the money's transferred, once the money's left a regulated environment, i.e. protected for safety, and it gets moved out, you've lost it. You've lost it. And, potentially it's an unpermitted investment. So there's a 55% tax charge on it. But hey, sod that. It's just gone. You've lost the money. So, it's just sad. So basically, because of the football link, which I think is a bit tenuous, but there you go. Because of the football link, the Pensions Regulator and the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, have decided to team up with a footballer, Clive Tisdale. Tisdale? I don't even know who he is. I'm not a football follower, so I'm sure I'll get lots of feedback on that. In a campaign to try and raise awareness about pension scams and how to prevent them. Hey, it's going to appeal to the footballers, isn't it? But is it going to appeal to everyone else? I don't know. I'm sure they could have chosen a better option, but hey, I wasn't involved with doing it. But you can significantly reduce your risk, okay? This is all you got to do. Deal with regulated firms, period. If you deal with a regulated firm, you have a layer of protection. So the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, is a very strict regulator, and they really make sure that regulated firms like my own adhere to certain rules and procedures to protect you. Now, I'll get it wrong. Sometimes we look at them and think, God, that's a bit onerous, isn't it? Do we really have to do that? But what it is because they're regulating to the lowest common denominator. There are some firms out there that wouldn't do things in a professional standard as default. So they've got to have these rules for them. And if the rules for them, the rules are for us. So we all follow the rules, and we just follow them anyway. And we do the right thing for you as the client. If you are working with a regulated firm, you are then covered under a thing called the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, which offers you a layer of protection. So if you're working with a regulated firm, you have a layer of protection. It's when you go out of that and you start dealing with these unregulated firms, rogue firms, companies, that you're in the whims of yourself. So you don't have that layer of protection. So check out the FCA register. Again, there's a link in the show notes, register.fca.org.uk. But also check out the person who you're talking to. So, Jane might sit in front of you, or John might sit in front of you and say, yes, I'm a regulated individual. This is my name, And you go online and you see that Jane's on there as a regulated firm. But make sure that is Jane sat in front of you. If you've never met this individual before, don't be afraid to say, oh, can I see your driving license so I could just check that you are John Doe or Jane Smith or whatever. So when I look on there, and if, when they give you the driver license or whatever, they look completely different. Don't just allow it. You should really work with someone you trust. There has to be a level of trust there. And if you're getting to that level of detail of checking identity and stuff, I would not want to do that. Try and visit them in their office. You then know and make sure their office and their company is on the register with the FCA. So both individuals and companies are on the register. So you can go on there, search Lexington Wealth Management. You'll see Lexington on there, and you'll also see Warren Shute on there. You'll see my history of where I've worked in the past and stuff. So make sure that you are doing your due diligence if the individual hasn't been referred to you, particularly, because if they've been, even if they have been referred to you, I would still do my due diligence. I have clients check me out on the register, and not all the time, admittedly, but occasionally, and it doesn't bother me. I'm on there for a reason. I'm on there for your protection. So yeah, make sure you do that. And hey, John, you hear horror stories about all these things that go on and stuff like that, but they are infrequent. They are not the norm. As I said, in the last 25 years, I've come across 2. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you may not be approached, and you have to be careful. And like with all fraud these days, whether it's cyber fraud, bank fraud, pension scams, you just have to be careful. Okay, so go and check out the website. Go and make sure if you deal with a regulated advisor, they are regulated. Excuse me. I was going to sneeze then. Sorry, I was going to sneeze. I just sneezed. And make sure that they are regulated and that you are looked after. So 5 ways you can avoid being scammed. Okay, this is my idea of you taking 5 takeaways to avoid being a scam. So step 1, do not be hurried. Do not be hurried. And even my own clients, never ever hurry them. You present them your recommendations and advice. You are there to feedback and answer any questions, and you allow them to consider it. Because although something is right intellectually and logically, it's got to fit emotionally. Now, I can go back and forth talking with the client and explaining things, but sometimes you just have to let the dust settle, and you allow it to settle, and you think, yeah, okay, that's right for me. Or if it just doesn't sit right with you, then don't do it. Don't do it, because you'll only end up regretting it. That's something inside you saying, oh, it's not right. You've not considered this one, but you can't articulate it. So, don't be hurried. Don't be pressured or rushed. Make any decisions about anything, really. Take your time. Get a second opinion. Feel free, run it past me. Drop me an email, warren@warrenshute.com. We offer a second opinion service for anyone. If it's regulated, I'll run it through Lexington Wealth Management. If it's just a non-regulated activity, I can just give you an opinion. But anything regarding advice, I will respond under the guise of my regulated firm. But get a second opinion on things. And sometimes it's good to do that anyway. Even with advice you're getting from your own advisor. Second thing to be careful of is that do not accept unsolicited calls, whether that's or promotions. So whether that's telephone calls, letters, if they still send them these days, emails, social media, doesn't matter how nice the ad works and stuff like that and what they're promising, just do not accept them. If it sparks an interest for you, if what they're saying gets interest, then go and seek your own independent financial planner, okay? And go and present what you are considering to the financial planner who's regulated and say, this is what I'm considering. Can I get your advice, please? Now, you might pay for that because you're paying for advice, but it'll be a lot less than losing your pension fund, okay? So it's okay to be intrigued by something, but don't necessarily go to them because they're going to tell you why it's a great idea. You need independent advice. Number 3, check who you're dealing with. I've mentioned this before, but really check who you're dealing with. Go to the FCA register, type in their postcode, type in where you went to meet them, type in the individual's name, and make sure that the client agreement, the terms of engagement that you signed to deal with that firm is for the firm that you checked online, not for a different firm. You can call the FCA helpline also as well on 0800 111 6768. to see if the individual is registered with them and the firm is registered. And you want both, really. You don't just want the firm registered and the individual not. You want the firm and the individual. And the reason for that is the person talking to you, you want to make sure that they're regulated and they've kept up their CPD and they've got all their exams and everything else, and that they're representing a regulated firm. So make sure both are on the register. And like I said, think about getting impartial advice. So, you've got the idea. Okay, I'm now going to take that and I'm going to go and see someone who I know is regulated and qualified and does this for a living, and I'm going to get impartial advice. And the last thing is, like I said, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. You do not want exotic hotels in your pension fund. You do not want anything really exciting. Getting rich is boring. And that's why most people don't actually ever accomplish it, because they want excitement. If you want excitement, go and take up a hobby. Okay? Regular, consistent investing, compound growth over time, a globally diversified portfolio that's going to deliver you between 5 and 8, 9, 10% return a year, depending on your risk profile, is all you need. Just consistent savings. You don't want something too exotic, too exciting, because that's a roller coaster. And when it goes down, you bail out. Your emotions take over, and you bail out. And then when it recovers, you're not back into it. Hopefully, it will recover. But you don't want exciting or exotic. Keep that for your holidays. Okay, so in the news this week, financial planning week. So kind of coincides, really. What a perfect opportunity. If you've got an idea, go and see a financial planner. A certified financial planner is kind of like the pinnacle of our profession. It's the standard that other financial planners sort of judge themselves against. It's a grueling exam and case study. So it's not just technical, it's presenting it. And they have to adhere to, I don't know, about 6 or 7 key elements that are very detailed when they present the plan. I myself judge the Financial Planner of the Year award, so I get these case studies for certified financial planners who have passed the exam. They then enter an exam to try and win the winner of the year, as it were. And then I, along with others, go through and we judge those and we interview these individuals. So some real smart cookies out there, some fantastic financial planners. And I actually learn myself from judging as much as I do from actually doing, because I look at what they present me. I think, oh, that's a really good idea. I like that. I like the way they presented that. Never think you're too good or that you have all the answers. That's just too dangerous. But the CISI, that is the governing body, the Chartered Institute for Securities Investment, that looks after all financial planners, certified financial planners at least, and stockbrokers and wealth managers. They have Financial Planning Week, which runs from the 5th to the 11th of October. It's an opportunity for you to go and get free consultations, a free 1-hour session with a certified financial planner. And then the CISI have got all this complimentary website work as well that you can go on and get information and tools and such like. The website for the CISI is CISI, so Chartered Institute for Securities Investments.org/FP Week, so Financial Planning Week. Or you can give the CISI a call on 020-7645-0777. So you give them a call, they will ask you for your postcode, where you are and stuff, and they'll give you a list of a couple of financial planners in your area that you can then go and make an appointment with. Currently, probably over Zoom, way things are working at the moment, or remotely, or maybe over the phone if you don't have Zoom. Some might be doing face-to-face. We're not. We're doing all ours over Zoom. And most of the financial planners in the country get involved with Financial Planning Week, because what we want to do is we want to raise the knowledge and awareness of financial planning and what it does. But it's also our opportunity to give back a bit of pro bono work for people who wouldn't ordinarily go and see a financial planner. So you don't get the full financial plan. You get an opportunity to speak to a financial planner, and they kind of give you a few ideas on what they would consider. So you can kind of use it as a taster. Oh, I like this. I'm now going to engage with them. Or you can use it as just to answer any questions that you might have or are unsure of. But yeah, give them a call. It's definitely worth it. Phone number for the CISI again. CISI is 020-7645-0777. Okay, also in the news this week, The government have confirmed the state pension age. No. The government have confirmed the personal pension age is rising from 55 to 57. So what this means is previously you were able to access your pensions from age 50. Then I think it was around about 2016, it increased from 50 to 55. And now they're saying that, okay, from 2028, it's going to increase from 55 to 57, which, why 57? Because it's going to be 10 years behind the state retirement age. Now, they actually initially suggested this back in 2014, like that. So it's been on the cards a long time. We were aware of it. Virtually every financial planner in the world has been aware of it, or the country at least. And we've factored it in on our plans for clients. So we know that if you were going to be 55 in 2028, you couldn't access your pensions. You'd have to wait another 2 years. So the way it sort of worked. The reality is, few people retire at that age anyway. Most people retire into their 60s. Affordability being the main reason. They can't afford to retire so young. So it's not really going to affect that many people. And what it does do is it allows the funds to be there to grow over time, because people are living longer. So we need more money to carry us through. Typical rule of thumb is around about 4% of the capital that you've got will be able to provide you an income for about 30-ish years, 35 years, like that. So there are a few parameters around it, but rule of thumb, 4% of the capital you've got will last you 30 years. And if you're interested in that, I can do another session on that, just taking income from retirement. So a couple of questions that I've received the last couple of weeks, and I've kind of coincided it with what's going on in here. If I have been a victim of pension fraud, am I protected? I kind of cover this in the main section, but I wanted just to cover this one particular question that I received. So if I'm a victim of pension fraud, am I protected? It's a complex area. Typically, in summary, if you have worked with an FCA regulated firm and your advice and the transaction was from an FCA regulated firm, then you should have protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, the FSCS. If you've been working, if the work transaction has come from a non-regulated firm, so just a normal company masquerading as a financial advisor, so they're not on the register, they're saying we are financial coaches or what have you, and they're getting you to do some transactions, then you're not. You have no protection, I'm afraid. So it is deadly and sad and unfortunate, but you have no protection. So it depends on the regulation, and this is really when you want to be working with a regulated firm, and why why it's so important. And unfortunately, yes, it is more expensive. I acknowledge that, because the regulator firm has to pay for the regulatory fees and the PI insurance, and we actually fund the FSCS ourselves. So we, as a body, banks included, all contribute in, and that actually covers the compensation scheme. So that's why it is more expensive to go through a regulated firm. Second question I had is, I've heard in the press that taxes are going to increase because of the public borrowing. Is this true? Hey, I love your faith in me for knowing insider information, but hey, it's up to Rishi Sunak, right? He's the Chancellor. He's the one who's going to make these decisions. I would find it hard to believe that he would increase taxes significantly until the economy was growing well and stable. At the moment, we have just come out of a furlough scheme, a pandemic, and we're approaching Brexit. All of those things give massive uncertainty for an economy. And remember, there's a disconnect between the economy and the stock market. We're talking about the economy here. I can't really believe he would increase taxes significantly to repay the government borrowing, because that could then jeopardize the growth trajectory and then take us into a spiral downturn. So he may tweak the taxes so that those companies that are doing well, i.e. tech, pay a share of tax. But the challenge he's got there is relationships. Until we get trade deals with the US and all these other countries around the world, I say US because that's mainly tech, he is less likely to want to put a tech tax in there. There was talk about the Googles and like Amazons who send most of their money offshore. So I could be corrected. I'm going to be brave and stick my neck out on the line and say I wouldn't increase taxes if I was the Chancellor until we were through Brexit and the country was growing again. But let's see what he does. I don't think he's going to. So, smarter spender section. Remember, smarter spender section is all about spending money, because spending money is not bad. Spending other people's money is. So I want you to be smart with the money you've got. We go through the bank account system. 50% of the money comes in, covers the household bills. 30% is for you to spend and enjoy, which is great. And 20% is for saving. So the 30% of spending and enjoy, what's cheap at the moment? What's gone down in price this week? Car accessories and motorbike accessories are down 23%. It's not really my thing. I'm not really going to get excited by that. TV's down 10%, which is pretty cool, especially with Christmas coming up. Smartwatches down 7%. The thing that really caught my eye is barbecues are down 12% than on last week. And that's a biggie for me because we barbecue all year round. So might be worth looking at getting a new barbecue. My barbecue's getting tired, I must say. What are people buying this week? What's good to keep an eye out? So remember, 3 pay packets till Christmas. We're doing this in September, so if we get paid monthly, we've got September's, we've got October's, we've got November's. By the time December's comes around, you need to have done your Christmas shopping. So you've got 3 pay packets till Christmas. I've been going on about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Please make sure you're putting money aside now for both the gifting and also the extra expenses you're going to have, because I do not want you to use your credit cards. Please do not use your credit cards during this period. So robots seems to be a big popular gift at Christmas. In 2020 seems to be no exception. The average price of toy robots, according to Idealo, in September is £56. But if you wait until December, it shoots up to £73. It's like a 50% increase. So hey, get yourself out there. If you're going to buy a toy robot, get it now rather than in December. Okay, so start looking at your shopping. What else are consumers buying this week? We think winter jackets. Oh, the weather had definitely changed. I love autumn, hate winter. Love autumn, love the summer, love spring. It's just winter I don't like. Autumn's great, but it's getting chilly, isn't it? It's getting cooler. So winter jackets, they've seen a 15% discount on North Face coats, which my son will be very pleased with. He likes North Face coats. And a 21% price drop on Patagonia jacket. I don't even know what that is, but a Patagonia jacket. But hey, get yourself onto Idealo. If you're doing your Christmas shopping, make a list. Check it twice. Sound like a Christmas carol, doesn't it? But seriously, make a list, check it, get yourself on Idealo, start doing some price checks. You can set alerts if prices start dropping, and you can set alerts to what price you're willing to pay for it, but do some planning and preparation. Hey, look, it's a different tone today. It's all about pension scams and Christmas and savings. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please like me on social media. Please email me with any questions. But until next time, please, my name's Warren Shute. This is Financial Education for the Nation. Take care.